1987 Ithaca campsite sports coach. No way. Ithaca campsite motorhome. Anyway, 57. Gotta fix the exhaust manifold. So I put the roof on it. So I'm rebuilding the sleeper. Where they had put the, you can see it, the aluminum and the steel together, oxidized. So reinforced all that. So I'm going to put this wood along the edges, and then I'm going to put the trim back, this type of trim around that, and then the rest of this that hangs out over the that's exposed to the air outside, I'm going to put 1 inch insulation. Looks like it like 3/4. Using what I've got around. So these are crazy priced these days. Anyway, I'm gonna put one around that, and then let's go back around that. Have a nice headliner. There's that TPO roofing that I used with adhesive on one side. It's looking kind of tacky. Look, put some of that on my fingers and go to church. They pass around the operating plate. That's terrible. I knew a kid actually did that when I was a kid. That's like, oh man. So anyway, this thing's really clean, but I think I'm gonna sell it for a lot of reasons. The bathroom's a little small, but put a power fan in this thing. There's all that dirt that came when I was redoing the roof. And I hooked the plumbing for winter time. It's got a few things that aren't perfect. The bed in the back, I mean, look at all this stuff everywhere. But the bathroom's never been used, refrigerator's never been used. This thing, other than I'm working on it. The bench there, put my bicycle up there, use the sleeper in the back. So, anyway, I started going into the roof, and then I found out I could redo the sleeper. What it did is it leaked down the corners. If you can see this, it's bright out here. So, anyway, so it leaked down these corners, so I sealed these corners. And then this, they tried to do some kind of crazy caulking and made it really look horrible. And I could sand some of that off. But I sealed all that, put a new board along the front, rebuilt this, and where that gasket is, that's where the water sat in there. Trapped water. Not perfect. I'm taking this piece of metal off, but maybe I will. I wanted to get an idea before I start putting it all back together. So I've got this trim back on. But these bottom corners were gone because it leaked down the corners. So I replaced that piece of wood right there all the way up to here. And then you can see I'm replacing that wood on that side. I clipped that in. So, and you can see this eternal bond that I'm putting in. Let's just turn this radio down.
McNally's Burger Stand is open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Don't forget the magnificent food at McNally's Restaurant open.
Turn that noise off. Okay. So anyway, replacing that wood, same as I did on the other side, up to the insulation right there. And I've sealed this with eternal bond. I'm actually sealed it behind that. And I used adhesive to put the TPO roofing on. So this is a great motorhome, but just if they could have solved those problems before you had this leak where it leaked down these sides. There's the TPO roofing. Pretty bright out here. And I used die-core seal on both sides. This has got a clip under it. The newer ones don't have a clip. And look how it's coming up even though I used adhesive. So I'm going to put metal along the back and front. It used adhesive. It had this paint on it. So it doesn't matter. It's not ever going to come off. Then I've got to put the rack back on. I think I'm going to paint it white. And there's the 73 Chevy Sports Coach motorhome. I put the instant hot water heater in there. TPO. I used to turn a bond down the sides, but I think I'm going to go back with metal and seal it and put die core. Because there's no way that metal strip would come off. You'd have to tear the whole thing apart and this thing would be built so well. So this is the 87 Ithaca. I think I'm selling this one now. I don't know, she's fun. 639.9. So I clipped the bumper. So I'm going to extend the bumper out 10 inches. And you can put a motorcycle in the back of it. My welder came up with the idea using the same thing, but having the bolts that hanging off of this and then welding it to the metal, that's just a weak spot. So I'd rather have this metal here. Oh, that's that. Oh, it's not too hot yet. And have this welded to there, to the high part, and then run the bumper on top of that. I just set the bumper on top of that. Yeah, slide a motorcycle right over top of that. Make it a lot stronger. And but then I used adhesive, and I'm putting a lot of screws through here to hold this piece of wood for the ladder. So I wanted to show you that. Or put it all back together. For this, you know, it all did leak in there, but I can use some crystal clear caulking and seal that up, and it'll hold just as good. How many minutes we got on this thing? Let's take a look. We got 7 minutes. I rebuilt an Odyssey. I'll never rebuild one ever again. Huh, I had so many hours in it. This thing's not quite as bad. And of course, I say I had the whole sleeper apart. They had, on these corners, they're steel welded, so this ends will never fall down. The Toyotas, they just fall apart. I've sold 6 last year. Chevy 30, 350 fuel injection right before Vortex. So I use these heavier screws, so they look more cool. So other than trying to replace that metal, oh look how I couldn't get the caulking out here. I'll scrape that down. And I'm just trying to seal around that. I sealed on the inside and out. So, anyway, this is where I'm at. I think I'm gonna put this up for about 16,000. Maybe just take 12. You buy yourself a Toyota Chinook for 16. So this ladder's gonna be really secure. Think about painting this. White, this rack that goes along there. So look how this without the clip on it, look how the steel's going out. That's a motorcycle hauler right there. Put the steel, have the steel welded on the end. Yeah. Not put this clip back on, maybe redo the window. So anyway, this is the campsite, Winnebago Industries. I don't know what they mean by this W flying. I gotta put all the new marker lights, LEDs on it. It's got like flying W thermal panel construction exclusively for Winnebago Industries. Whee! I see it as 3/4 of its insulation. This Sports Coach 73, it's got 2 in the walls and 2 in the ceiling. So I put TPO on this. There's a Chinook. I want one that's just for a runner. One time I had a 75. I used to haul trash in it and make $100 a day. Messing around. I'm putting this window in this Dodge 75 Sports Coach. I'm putting this in the back of this. So it's 81 today. I'm getting something done today. So I got the TP over this. I put steel over these holes. If I ever did it again, I'd paint it white first because this feels a little bit of heat, but not like it's really hot. Police cushion. Let's look at the dash. 73 Sports Coach 402. Sat for 25 years. But I'm keeping this one. I like this one. Plus it's got the big bed in the back. There's cushions in the back. I'm going to put that folding out window in the back here off that other one. And cut this in half. And seal the ends and make it look okay. But I'm not putting that lower part on because look how much it goes out, if you can see it. That's where motorcycles going. So other than that Luan, they call it Luan, I think. Power. I already got the bathroom hooked up in this. Look at this bathroom, man. This thing's big. Whoa, scary. 63-year-old guy. Scary little kid. Not putting the escape hatch back on. That little piece there cost me $32 at the hardware store. I'm gonna start buying everything online. Instant hot water heater. Events. I'm gonna vent today outside. I took this vent off the 87 Ithaca because I'm using the power fan, maxi power fan, I think it is. My buddy bought it for 80. I gave him $100. Now they're like 160. He's getting kicked out of where he's living. He just couldn't plan ahead. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna be hitting the road too. I'll just live in the woods. So I got water going to this, the propane going to it, so because I'm gonna take the house apart, redo the house. The house is like 400 square feet, and then I'm gonna run a hot to the sink and a cold to the sink. This thing is clean. Sat for 25 years. I think she said her father bought it for $13,000 or $16,000. But I'm gonna have the big sleeper in the back. Be cool to put a door back there. Gotta get my buddy. He's like a welder. He did the welding on the robotic welders on the Bay Bridge. He's sharp. So you can tell he's a union welder because his idea of welding isn't what my strength capacity would be. Maybe they just want quick. He's in the 80s, dude. I hope I can remember who I am when I'm in my 80s. It's got a big bathroom. And this toilet holds water after 25 years. See your little bench. This thing's 7 feet wide and the Ithaca's 8 feet wide. Look at these seats. 1973. Like brand new. Look at the fan. This is a time capsule. Headliner's pretty clean. Yeah. I have no idea if this runs. I tagged it. Sure did. My buddy's supposed to blow through town here. So I think I'm having him work on stuff. Just because I'm like, I've spent 2 summers here. I'm going on the ocean in the woods with a backpack. As far as I'm going. I can't even see driving anymore. Well, I live on Lake Isabella, so I'm 3 miles to the river and 5 miles to Remington Hot Springs. I just love going camp there for like 1 or 2 nights and they shut it down because it's got vandalized so bad. So the people who vandalized it ruined it for everybody else. Thanks a lot. So anyway, that's my Ithaca story. This is 75. I picked it for $300, but I might be able to get the tires to work. But it's like I'm never going to drive anywhere. So I'm using what I've got around here. I got to put a fence up. I've cleaned so much out of here. I better spend $1,000 hauling trash out here. Well, it's a rental. So there's the Itasca or Ithaca campsite. I don't know. I might have 16,000. I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. 96 on Wednesday. Woo! I'll be inside of the cooler.